very good evening to everybody, and I thank ET Auto for the opportunity to present on the automotive supply chain. I'll take you through the automotive supply chain and the solutions therein as far as EVs are concerned. To begin with, now introducing APL Logistics. We are a leading global logistics player. We are subsidiaries of Kintetsu World Express of Japan. We have around 17,000 employees globally, work in around 60 countries, and we are organized, as you can see, into 5 regions across the world. Some statistics as far as our business volumes are concerned, and as far as the part of the world in which we exist, that is Asia, we have 3 different regions which are active in this part of the world, namely South Asia, Southeast Asia, and North Asia. And you can see the operating locations as far as Asia is concerned on the map. Going ahead, I must point out here that the last 3 years have basically brought the supply chain in focus. And it's been in focus for all the wrong reasons. Supply chain shock is really what's been talked about quite often. Now, what we did in this period of time was we put together, or we blended the the expertise of our wonderful accounts management teams with our basic offerings in different lines of businesses and our extensive physical infrastructure. We put all that together with with a proprietary open architecture digital systems, and we basically provided for enabling us to serve corporates in order to meet the unexpected. Because that's really what's been happening as far as the past 3 years are concerned. It's been, it's been a semiconductor shock, it's been a supply chain shock, it's been a shock on account of congestion at ports, lack of availability of containers, and all that. So the natural innovation here was to move ahead and innovate the supply chain and enable us to kind of foresee and tide over the unexpected. Now that resulted in something which is called order management systems. So what we are doing really is essentially something that combines a dynamic order planning exercise, with shipment execution after optimization, along with full aspects of visibility and analytics and everything, put together. So this is really our, where we have reached as far as the last 3 years are concerned. This is the specialization that we have, and well, as we go ahead, we'll see how it applies to the automotive supply chain. Now, as far as India is concerned, that was global. As far as India is concerned, we've been here since 1987, and as APL Logistics, we've been here since the year 2000. Now, there are 3 entities in India. The first is APL Logistics, which, as I mentioned, those basic lines of businesses now put together as order management services. You can see some pictures as far as our facilities are concerned, all of which are CTPAT compliant, 5S, and all that. So you can see a global picture. You can see the all India picture there as far as our presence is concerned. I must add that we are focused solution providers. We are not, generic. We work on solutions. We provide solutions. We set up, facilities, etc., to work solutions. The other 2 entities that we have in India are about the faith of this group as far as railway is concerned. So both these entities are in response to the government policy that favored private enterprise to participate as far as freight movement is concerned. One is APL Logistics Vascor Automotive, a JV of APL Logistics and Vascor Limited of the United States. This was specifically set up to take care of finished vehicle logistics requirements as far as India is concerned. The second is India Links, which is a container train operations company. Now that works in the field of container train operations. So in the panel, Mr. Sudhendu Sinha mentioned government intervention with policy. Now here it is that a group puts in $100 million and puts its faith as far as the government policy is concerned. And I must say, well, all kudos to the Indian Railways for an excellent administration of the policy. And you can see the success of the government policy by virtue of people coming in and putting in money. Now, a word about these companies. APL Logistics, Vascor Automotive. This is working in the automotive space, over 40% market share in the passenger vehicle segment, 22 custom designed double deck rakes, and of course it's also operating regional stockyards for the OEMs after GST came in 2017. Likewise, it is as far as India Links is concerned. Now, of course, we've crossed 1 million wins as far as total movements are concerned since we started operations in 2014. A word about sustainability here, which is the basic theme of what we are talking about in this hall. Both these companies are responsible for saving over 75,000 metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions annually, and that's because of the rail mode which is used by both these companies. Now, coming to the automotive supply chain, you have 3 segments of it. You've got the inbound part, the inbound to production. You've got the finished vehicles part, and you've got the aftermarkets part. Now, we are active as far as all the 3 are concerned. Coming to the inbound to production part, well, you will have the complete gamut of activities from the supplier right up to the production unit. And if you see on the right-hand side, we are blending what is being made available domestically with what is being made available overseas and supplying to the OEMs. So a while ago in the panel, Mr. Bahl mentioned in graphic detail automotive components and also mentioned how certain components are mostly available overseas and the supply is now trying to be shifted to India. So if you wanted to kind of source from overseas, well, the ability to be able to collect everything that is available overseas, consolidate it into a container, bring it into India, warehouse it, blend it with what is available domestically, and then in a sequence supply to the production line while also giving full visibility and analytics to the OEM, including reorder points, etc. That is really what order management is about. That is the capability that we are having, and that is the capability that is just, that is deployed. And those points that you see on those maps are basically points of operation that we are having. Coming to finished vehicles, well, this is the double-deck trains that I mentioned, and the yards, the regional stockyards. So unbuilt vehicles from the OEMs are getting stored in these yards. They are invoiced, supplied to the dealers. So the entire chain is end-to-end, from the factory right up till the dealer. That's really what this finished vehicle supply chain is all about. And EVs are very much part of this whole exercise, with special requirements that the OEMs have for handling these EVs. That's part of what you're seeing on the screen. Likewise, we have a product called Auto Direct. Now, we've all heard of exports of cars as far as Ro-Ro vessels are concerned. Now, there is another way of doing the same thing, and that is in containers. But because a container is only 12 meters in length, and a car is maybe 4 or 5 meters in length, how do you maximize what you can fit into a container? Now, there are customized racks that are designed and that are used for this purpose. So that entire thing is called Auto Direct. And what it enables is basically a manifold leap as far as quality is concerned. And its relevance to EVs, well, if you are trying to export EVs separately from the batteries. Now, this is the inquiry that we got and we worked on pre-COVID. They wanted to export to Europe after manufacturing in India, but said that we want to attach the batteries in Europe because we get a tax break for doing that. In that case, it's not Ro-Ro, but this is the only solution that works in that case. And of course, this is used domestically as well. So that's basically about finished vehicle logistics and what we are offering there. Similarly is aftermarket. So all about domestic warehousing, value adds, and what have you. So that's the third segment where we are active as well. Now, as far as the EVs, as far as the nuances of this EV supply chain are concerned, now, as logistics service providers, we are basically kind of impacted, though indirectly, by the change in the production processes. So as far as EVs are concerned, well, as we heard from the panel, the number of components are far fewer. You can say from the engine, it's the battery that is the mainstay of that vehicle. The vehicle is basically assembled bottoms up from the, from that aerodynamic pan, which holds trays, which holds the batteries and all that, to your EV controller. So the ecosystem is totally different. Now, the components, therefore, even though there may be some things which are common there with the ICE engines, they also tend to be totally different. Now, you have to be kind of aware and apprised of how the changes are to be made as far as the supply chain is concerned. So on the screen, you can see some aspects of the special handling which batteries need. So the battery ecosystem, and battery is indeed the mainstay as far as the EVs are concerned. Well, I think you have to be aware of the nuances of how these batteries are handled, what are the safeguards which have to be there as far as battery handling is concerned. So that is something that is, we keep ourselves abreast of all these things so that they can be put into action. The second change which can be talked about, and there would be several others, are value adds in stockyards. As far as ICE is concerned, well, it was all about repairs, it was about accessorization, etc., etc. But the value adds in stockyards can go to totally different dimensions as time goes on. Well, you could have software updates, you could have modules which could be manufactured and stored and then supplied and all that. So here, this opens up a totally different world of possibilities. Now, these are requirements that are evolving as time goes on, and as time goes on, we also keep innovating and adjusting to the requirements. A word here about sustainability. After all, the basic reason for EVs is really sustainability. Now, APL Logistics is very much clued on as far as sustainability is concerned. You've got Scope 1, Scope 2, and Scope 3 emissions. It's Scope 3 which concern us as far as logistics is concerned. Now, there are these 15 sources of supply chain emissions which form category 9 of the GHG protocol. How to measure it and how to kind of reduce that from the supply chain, that is a special area of focus as far as APL Logistics is concerned. And just to illustrate, well, I think we've been working for a retailer, I can't name, but where we are managing their factory to CFS transportation, and the idea is to kind of achieve emission reduction. So you can see on the waterfall the various elements of reduction that are there as far as this particular project is concerned. And likewise, we've been commissioned by a leading OEM who basically wants us to be in touch with all their inbound suppliers and to then drive the sustainability program, because it's all about sustainability. After all, we are doing EVs for the sustainability thing as well. So these are examples of what really we are doing as far as sustainability is concerned, and these are systems that can easily be deployed as far as your supply chains are concerned. Now, to sum up, the three segments as far as the automotive supply chain is concerned, well, we are there in the domestic segment, we are there in the overseas segment, the finished vehicles part, and the aftermarket part. And all of this is held together by advanced IT systems, and of course, with a full visibility as far as sustainability is concerned. Well, I think the auto management solutions that I mentioned are there as far as deployment is concerned. We look forward to interfacing with you. We look forward to innovating, as I think we've been talking of since morning. All the sessions have been about innovation. We also look forward to meeting up with you, understanding your requirements, and kind of working out solutions for you. we would kind of welcome your queries and look forward to working together with you. Thank you.